Hello class, today I will be going over my final project where I will be presenting to you my experience as a mentee for Red Hat with my mentor Gotham. This is my final year here at Valencia. I've been here for about 5 years. I did take a gap year, that's why it's so long. I am in the Computing Technology and Software Development program. And the title for this project would be Manila Role-Based Access Control Testing. So for this mentorship, we were originally supposed to be writing tests to help strengthen the RBAC systems for Manila. However, there were some issues and we had to deviate from the initial plan and pursue something else. These are the tools and the languages used to complete this project, or to get myself through this mentorship rather. The language used was Python, and all the tools used were Gerrit, which is a code review platform, PyCharm, Element, Git Bash, and a VM provided by my mentor. Just to go over each of these a little bit. PyCharm was mainly used to access the document that I ended up working with for the bulk of this mentorship, or at least for the past month and a half to 2 months. We were putting in old deprecated commands and swapping them out for the new updated commands. For instance, this one right here, Manila Absolute Limits. When you place it into the virtual machine, it would give you the correct update and a warning saying that it was deprecated and that it recommends you switching it to the new command. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that here right now. I'm going to exit my current session and sign into the virtual machine again, just so you see the full process here. I'm grabbing the IP for my virtual machine. So first things first, I have to SSH into the VM. That means everything went well. Then I have to go to the correct directory, which I have saved right here. So I just go through, copy, paste, and enter. And now lastly, this command serves an example to show you what I'm talking about here. So Manila Absolute Limits, and it gives me the correct output here. However, it also says CLI deprecated, will be removed in the future. Use OpenStack CLI. The equivalent command is da da da. So I would take this entire block here, including this little smidge right here. I would go over to the doc in PyCharm and I would find the appropriate command. It has already been changed here, but just as an example, you would remove a block that exists and replace it with the updated command. So that is basically what I was doing with PyCharm and the virtual machine, which I was accessing via Git Bash. And I will say Git Bash is a very convenient tool. So after all that's said and done, and you've made all your changes, I would go back to PyCharm here. I would use the deployment feature, deploy it, and do a git review, which would then push it over here to opendev.org or Gerrit. And in here, it would tell me if what I pushed succeeded, if it was a good push, or if there's stuff I needed to change. So right here it says build failed, and it gives me the reason. Explicit markup ends without a blank line, da da da. So I would have to then come here, click on the explicit failure, come to the logs, hit the output text, and sort through this particular file to see exactly what the issue was. And I was taught an easy way to do this. You just control F where you failed. So right here it says I failed, and then you go up a little bit and it gives you the exact reason and where you failed. So this failure was simply due to a misalignment in the line beginnings here. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. However, I did fix it, but like I said, I cannot deploy at the moment to officially get this changed the proper way. So those are my main tools that I use throughout this entire process here. And then element IRC. This was mostly used to communicate with the rest of the Manila team. However, I never really had to speak with them. I always just went to Gutham via email or via this doc right here. I leave a comment to him and he'd respond in a pretty timely manner. So to piggyback on what I was saying earlier on what we had to change, the initial plan was for us to pretty much go through that doc I showed you in PyCharm and just learn what Manila is about. And that we could do no problem. However, due to some like scheduling issues with us and Gutham and everyone not being able to meet at the same time during the week, we had to push back a lot of the stuff. So we never actually got to write any of the tests that we initially set out to write. And we were instead tasked with going through that doc and changing those commands and updating everything, which in turn proved to be a challenge in itself. But I still would have liked to eventually get to this state, but no use dwelling on the past. I found that going through the doc and making all the changes, it became pretty clear what some changes had to be. For instance, here, the before command was Manila share type list, the after OpenStack share type list. So in the beginning, I wasn't really seeing the change because I still had some technical issues and stuff like that. But as I kept going, I got a lot better at switching the commands out and getting everything nice and streamlined and efficient. I had some big technical challenges, particularly setting up DevStack in the beginning, getting my SSH key, all stuff I've never done before, but it eventually got handled. And now towards the end here, the virtual machine I was working with just randomly got deleted. We have no idea how it happened. Thankfully, he had a backup, and I started using the backup to do what I needed to do. However, the previous VM was connected to my original PyCharm with my SSH key. So that is the main reason why I can no longer deploy from here to make my changes official. And we haven't quite gotten around to fixing that as yet. And I won't be seeing my mentor until after this project is due. So I won't have that changed before then, unfortunately. However, those are my main issues here. I did have some slight issues with Element, the IRC chat. However, mainly due to those issues that are stuck with email. I never really too worried about it. I feel like I was successful in the end with setting up everything I needed to set up, in particular DevStack. I was really proud of myself when I got that done. And going through all the documents that I had to change and updating all the commands and doing the pushes, learning all the Git commands to get it all done, going to Gerrit, seeing what I failed at, going through that, going back, fixing what I need to fix, and then eventually getting that green dot saying that it was done correctly. And that would look like, let me show that. So if I go to my dashboard here, see this when it's done correctly, you get all greens like this. And that was satisfying to finally get that. Now, if I could do over this project, I'd say I'd be a lot more prepared. I would know what is necessary, how to set up what I need to set up, and I'd have the know-how to help my fellow classmates get to the right place so we can all progress through this in the scheduled manner and get to the end goal that was initially set out by the mentor. I would also like to maybe try the project that the rest of the class did, which was, doing their own thing with small data, which I think is really fun in hindsight now, but I just wanted to get some professional experience through this. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope everyone has a good day and appreciate you watching. Goodbye.